The long wait was finally over. Day one of the 2022 Cheltenham Festival commenced on Tuesday on good to soft ground. The Unibet Champion Hurdle Challenge Trophy was the feature at the midpoint of the card at 3:30. Other highlights included the Arkle kicking off with the Supreme and a really competitive renewal of the Mayor's Hurdle, plus some extremely difficult handicaps to work out. Bang up to scratch renewal of the Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle, the Grade 1 which kicks off the Cheltenham Festival over 2 miles. Constitution Hill, Nicky Henderson, Dysart Dynamo, Willie Mullins, 9 to 4 joints, calling them home, Stuart Machin.
And it's not going to be a first time up, it's a full start because Dysart Dynamo was just gathering a head of steam, and in fairness to starter Robbie Supple, he couldn't let them go in that situation. Dysart Dynamo got all the way down to the takeoff side of the opening flight. He hasn't gone too far, so just a moment's hiatus as Dysart Dynamo makes his way back to rejoin the other 8, and the tape will be re-stretched. Right, here we go, flags raised again. They're off! And the Festival 2022 roars into life with the Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle, and Dysart Dynamo's gone off very sharply to the first, and he's already strung the field out by about 10 lengths. So it's Dysart Dynamo in the blue and yellow, pressured for the early lead by Jonbon in the JP McManus hoops, and the leading duo have gone bounding 3 or 4 lengths clear of Constitution Hill in the white jacket, who heads the pursuit. There's a further 3-length break to Mighty Potter, red and white silks, who drops into 4th, and then Kilcrut in a green sleeve jacket, Silent Revolution in the blue and yellow sitting towards midfield ahead of JPR1 in the black and yellow, and out on the left Shall We Have One More with the white cap and Bring On the Night is the early back marker, and Dysart Dynamo leads them at the second. Gets in tight to it, rather bunny hopped his way over it, and Jonbon up the inner was more fluent as they turn to meet rising ground and make the fairly lengthy run now between flights 2 and 3. So Dysart Dynamo back in front, leading the Sky Bet Supreme field to Jonbon, sitting now a couple of lengths away. Constitution Hill in third under Nico de Boinville is a bit closer to the leading pair. There's a break of a couple of lengths to Mighty Potter, being shadowed by Kilcrut. A further 2 lengths away to Silent Revolution in the blue and yellow on the inner of JPR1. And Shall We Have One More is the shadow to Bring On the Night as they head across the far side and on towards the third. So the free-going Dysart Dynamo leading Jonbon, and much more fluent there, Dysart Dynamo. JPR1 midfield just clipping the top, and relatively short run on now towards the 4th. Dysart Dynamo over 2 lengths ahead to the Henderson pair of Jonbon and Constitution Hill, who are giving chase. There's a 4-length break to Mighty Potter, and then Kilcrut being followed by JPR1 and Shall We Have One More. Bring On the Night and Silent Revolution has dropped to the tail of the field and is being niggled along. There'll still be about 10, maybe 12 lengths covering the field as they head steadily towards the halfway point in the Supreme, and it's Dysart Dynamo and Paul Townend leading Jonbon and Aidan Coleman the white cap. Nico de Boinville has got Constitution Hill black cap a handy third, jumping well there. Mistake in 4th from Mighty Potter, comprehensively outlet by Kilcrut in the green sleeves, who goes past him, and after that error Mighty Potter is very swiftly on the retreat. Meanwhile, Silent Revolution is tailed off, eased off, and looks like pulling up, and Mighty Potter has dropped back to be last of those still going. So top of the hill, they're about to freewheel on down now towards the third last, and it's Dysart Dynamo being joined on the inner by Jonbon. Constitution Hill stalks them going smoothly in third. 5 or 6 lengths away to Kilcrut, then Bring On the Night with the yellow sleeves to Shall We Have One More in JPR1, and Jonbon took over, and Dysart Dynamo crashes out and impedes Shall We Have One More. Dysart Dynamo is up, and now it's the Henderson pair who are left clear, heading towards 2 out. Jonbon the white cap, black cap for Constitution Hill, who saunters alongside. The penultimate flight, Constitution Hill and Jonbon, inseparable. They're 6 lengths ahead of Kilcrut, who's trying to gather them in back in third, but Constitution Hill sweeps majestically into the lead, rounding the final corner. He opens up by 4, 5, 6 lengths. Jonbon is chasing his stablemate, but he's surely chasing in vain. Constitution Hill down towards the last in the Supreme. and he's over safely, and he's over clear, and it's a yawning gap back to Jonbon and Kilcrutt. It's first strike to Henderson, it's first strike to England in the colours of Michael Buckley. Constitution Hill, a class apart, wins the Supreme. Jonbon, his stablemate, makes it a Henderson 1-2. Kilcrutt is third. Bring on the Night is back in fourth.
What a stunning start. Constitution Hill blows them away in the Supreme. 9-4 joint favourite. Wins for Nico de Boinville, Nicky Henderson, Michael Buckley. A 1-2 for the stable with Jonbon in second at 5-1. Third staying on, Kilcrutt 6-1. What a specimen he is. He remains unbeaten, Constitution Hill. And even if they've gone a crawl, you fancy he probably would have come to the fore anyway. As it happened, he had a suicidally fast pace to aim at, courtesy of Dysart Dynamo, who checked out. But that set up perfectly for Constitution Hill, who had differences to what he'd faced prior to today. No heavy ground, no Sandown Park, but he took them all in his stride. He is one of the most exciting horses we've seen in years.
The winning horse is a Goffs horse.
It's another Tattersall's National Underground.
A fifth Supreme, a 71st winner in his career at the festival. Nicky Henderson has just seen an extraordinarily impressive winner of the Supreme. He's won this race with Altior and Shishkin, and Constitution Hill has just been, if anything, even more impressive. What are you thinking?
Sorry for Jonbon. And Dysart Dynamo as well, of course, because that was, the three of them had gotten a long way clear by then, hadn't they? And it was, nobody wants to see that happen. But this is obviously a very, very, very good horse. And Jonbon is a very good horse. So for him to do that to him is remarkable.
You've talked about this horse's temperament. You've called him an extraordinary creature, the way he takes a lie down at the races. Is that what comes together to make him be able to put a performance like that?
Actually, Richard said up in the stables today, for the first time he found him awake. Because that atmosphere here, they even feel it before the first race up there. It's extraordinary. The place is different altogether, but it's just nice to be back here with all these people, and that is the atmosphere that does it, isn't it? And it means a lot.
You must be very excited by what he's done then. I mean, you just said the estimation in which you hold Jonbon, and Constitution Hill was able to blow him away in that way. How good do you feel this horse could be?
Well, again, it's extraordinary that he is a genuine two-miler. I don't know why. I mean, he was he'd stay 2.5 miles standing on his head, I think. But, he's got an enormous turn of foot. And he's always just racing in 2 gears below everybody else, because it's all so easy for him. And then he can, the turbo works. You press a button and it works. But that's the way he is at home, and it's the way he is on the racecourse, which is lovely.
Do you see him as a champion hurdler prospect?
Well,
rather than switching to fences?
I know Mr. Matt Chapman is going to beg me to put him in the champion hurdle this year, and he'll be telling me what a fool I was for not doing it, won't he?
Well, after a performance like that, which was quite extraordinary, you have to think.
Well, we'll see. There's a long way to go yet. He's got his life in front of him.
And what might you do for the rest of the season? Are you going to
I don't know. I haven't. I mean, this Bacchanal will sit down. I mean, entry comes very quickly.
Punchestown?
But you could go to Punchestown, yeah. We could probably go and say hello to Willie again and see what happens.
Well, many congratulations. A really exciting way to start. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I was Nico de Boinville, I'd barely be able to stand after that performance from Constitution Hill, but Nico seems to be taking it in his stride. That was an extraordinary, in a ridiculous time. Tell me how it felt.
And it was staggering, really. We've got a really good gallop. I knew from the full start it was going to be fast and furious. And to be fair, he did it like a piece of work. He's just lobbing away, in behind the bridle, very happy, jumping away. And then coming down the hill, Dysart Dynamo slightly put the handbrake up, and we've all started to stack up, and I ended up nearly running into the back of them. So I've just switched in, and to be fair, he's just taken me the entire way and locked onto the bridle, and then it was just a case of point and shoot.
And you must have been happy, on good terms with yourself, bar that minor blip all the way round.
Yeah, delighted with that. I think he'd never been so fast in his life before, because his previous runs had been on soft to heavy ground. And I don't think, we were going really quick at that point, and then it sort of steadied up and sort of ebbed and flowed, as it were. And I was so happy going to the last there. I was just quite happy just to let him do whatever he wanted at it. And it's just got an amazing engine, and fantastic for Michael Buckley He's put so much into the game, and we've had our ups and downs, you know, all throughout my career at Seven Barrows, and he's been with us through thick and thin, and just delighted that it's all come out good for him.
An extraordinary performance. Shishkin's won this, Altior's won this. Look at what they've gone on to be. Do you see this horse as a champion hurdler in waiting?
He could be anything. I'm sure he would jump a fence as well. So where we go, I don't know. I mean, he's got so much scope. The feel he gave me schooling last week, it was almost as if he would jump a fence. So I don't know. There'll be a big discussion now, and where we go from here, I don't know.
It's really hard to estimate what the summit of his achievements could be there, because he's just dotted up. He's blown away what we were all saying was one of the deepest fields, certainly since Alpha Off Supreme. He's blown them away.
He has, and what's just fantastic is that his temperament is so good.
Yes.
I mean, he walked down the horse walk there out onto the track on the buckle end, not fussed by anything. You can ride him whichever way you want, pop him out. He doesn't need cover or anything like that. He's just so straightforward, and that's a real sort of benefit to him going forward.
And were you confident in him coming into this? Were you thinking, well, that's it, I'm going to win the Supreme? Did you have that much faith in him?
Well, it's that old sort of adage, isn't it, that jockeys always say, I wouldn't swap him for the world, but I can honestly say that I wouldn't have done.
I think everybody could agree with you now after that performance, and it sets you up nicely for the week, Nico.
It does, that's great. You know, we sort of set our stall out, and let's keep kicking now.
Well, many congratulations. It's so exciting to imagine what he and you might be able to achieve together. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice full field for the Arkle, and a nice full open betting market as well. Edwardstone edged it at 5-2, 7-2 Riviere d'Etel, with Blue Lord rounding off the challenges at 4-1.
They're off. Away first time in the Sporting Life Arkle Challenge Trophy, and Magic Days, the mare, bounces out in front, black sleeve jacket, and goes freely at the first as she hops over it neatly. And they've all cleared it nimbly enough. St Sam with the red sleeves and cap was a little steep on landing. And Magic Days leads them sharply on to the second, pressured for the lead by Brave Shashka, who is invariably himself a front runner, and away to the left with the white cap. He now puts his nose just about in front as they run between fences 2 and 3. So it's Brave Shashka and Magic Days being pursued early on by a pair of greys, Riviere d'Etel with the red cap and Warlord in the black and white. Edwardstone, the yellow spotted cap in midfield. Brave Shashka not particularly high at the third. Blue Lord in the double green is out wide. Cur Sublime in a striped jacket held up crossing the fourth, and Brave Shashka takes a tumbling fall, and he impedes Edwardstone, and more significantly hampered St Sam, who's unseated. Both horses have emerged unscathed, both jockeys quickly on their feet, but Brave Shashka is out of the race, and he's taken St Sam out of it. And there was an anxious moment for Tom Cannon aboard Edwardstone as well, who kept his feet, and he's back in midfield as they take the fence on the incline, and Magic Days is leading. Among those held up, Autant Couleur in a check jacket has only got 3 behind. Cur Sublime has drifted back towards the rear. Gabinarco in the stars is alongside him, and Red Rookie under Tom Bellamy, white jacket, is the back marker. As preceded by a loose horse, Magic Days leaves them at the first down the far side, but is now taken on by Riviere d'Etel, who jumped alongside, and they head on towards the water, which is fence 7. So it's Magic Days narrowly leading the Arkle field over Riviere d'Etel. Warlord disputing third, with Edwardstone regathering his composure to dispute fourth place with Blue Lord in the green silks, and then Autant Couleur. Red Rookie wide as they cross the first of the ditches, and Gabinarco and Cur Sublime complete the field, which is now covered by no more than half a dozen lengths, and they head on towards fence 9. Passing through the halfway point, Magic Days to Riviere d'Etel, 2 or 3 lengths ahead of Warlord, Edwardstone spotted cap, alongside Blue Lord in the double green. And then Gabinarco from the rail across to Cur Sublime in the stripes, and Autant Couleur and Red Rookie, and they're coming to the open ditch at the top of the hill, 4 out. Leading pair jumping particularly well there. And it's a pair of greys who will lead them on the descent now, the lengthy run towards 3 out. Riviere d'Etel, the grey mare, ahead of Magic Days. Warlord, the other of the greys, close up in third, alongside Edwardstone Stone. Tracked in turn by Blue Lord and then Gabinarco to Autant Colleux. Has the widest passage freewheeling down the hill. Slipstream by Red Rookie and Cœur Sublime, and they're heading in towards the wings now of the third last in the Arkle. Rivière de Tell has her grey head in front. Shakes off the attentions of Magic Days, though she jumps out to the right. Edward Stone now is inching closer and is beginning to move off in pursuit of the mare as they make the run back towards home with less than half a mile to travel and 2 to jump in the Sporting Life Arkle. It's Rivière de Tell. Edward Stone is breezing into it now. He gets to the mare's quarters. Blue Lord in the double green in behind. Gabinarco in the stars on the move. And then Autant Colleux, who turns on in 5th. And Edward Stone comes alongside Rivière de Tell. 2 out, they come together. They collide in the air. Edward Stone emerges ahead. Blue Lord and Gabinarco are chasing Edward Stone over the last with springs at his heels. He lands 3 lengths clear. Red Rookie has crashed outward held, and it's Edward Stone halfway up the run-in, and he's beginning to power clear of Gabinarco and Blue Lord. It's Alan King and Tom Cannon in the Arkle. Edward Stone wins. Gabinarco is second and Blue Lord third, followed home by Warlord, Rivière de Tell and Autant Colleux.
What a performance from Edward Stone in the Arkle. 5-2 favourite scores. First Cheltenham Festival success for Tom Cannon, riding for Alan King and Robert Abry and Ian Thurtle. Second Gabinarco 25-1, 4-1 about Blue Lord back in third, but they were playing for places when Edward Stone jumped to the front. Gabinarco's decision by Connections to send him here and supplement him 4 has paid off to some extent, but Edward Stone was going to be very tough to get past once he jumped to the front. He's shown his toughest teakness when defying Grade 1 penalties and Grade 2s the last twice, and it's all come together for Tom Cannon. The horse he broke his Grade 1 duck on has broken his Cheltenham Festival duck as well.
Very close proximity to Tom Cannon. I think everyone wants to come over and congratulate him after that brilliant success in the Arkle on Edwardstone. A rise of great poise, I thought, because there were things happening all around you. Can you talk us through what happened?
Yeah, I mean, obviously early on we went enough for gallop. Deutschie's thing fell, kind of hampered me for a little while. Me and Blue Lord were probably travelling equally as well behind, making each other a little bit keen. Yeah.
Oh, being broken off for a photo. That's okay. Things happen in live TV. Tom was so quick to go and weigh in that he missed having a photo. So we'll hang on. He'll be back in a bit. After a brief break for photos, Tom Cannon is back with us. You were halfway through describing how the race went. When Brave Sheshka went in front of you, how difficult, how hairy was that?
Yeah, it could have gone either way. I was humming and hawing down to the fence whether to go left or right of him. Ended up making a wrong decision. He was right in front of me when he fell. It was one of those, it could have gone either way. Luckily, found a leg, and whichever way Charlie and the horse rolled, I managed to avoid him. So it didn't hamper me too much. If anything, just I had to take a pull round the bend, jumped across the cross fence well, and then after that, when we went down the straight again, pulled out a bit wider on Blue Lord because he was a bit keen, and it kind of opened up again after that, so it was fine. After that, the race was fine. Obviously, the front two went an even gallop. I didn't think we went mad gallop.
I was surprised by that. Were you?
No, yeah, we went an even gallop. No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, everyone's riding the race to suit themselves at the end of the day. So, it'd be fairly brain dead to go too hard on purpose. So, they were on 2 good horses that were, meant to be in the race. So, after that it was fine. I followed the was it River to Tell down the hill, and then I sort of was lit up down the hill, jumped the 3 out well, and then was just scared I didn't really want to commit him too early. He has got that finishing kick, and luckily it panned out well. So, and then at the last, he helped me out. I didn't see a thing at the last, and he saw one, so that was fine.
And you mentioned Rivière de Tell. She was jumping out to her right. There was a bit of a collision 2 out. Was that?
Yeah, she was probably coming to the end of her tether a little bit, but then maybe. But I was committed. I wasn't going to try and be silly and go on the other side, so I stayed where I was. I winged it. He maybe just shimmied a little bit to the right, but it was one of those. It didn't do any harm anyway. Edward Stone's a big boy. He can hold his own. Yeah.
Well, it's that experience that he's got, that he's garnered over fences, which has really been the making of him this season, which means that he was able to brush those things off, surely.
And also, he's learnt as he's gone all the year. I think Ruby showed his replay of Sandown actually just before he went out, talking about the downhill fence at Sandown and the railway fence where he missed a few. But he learnt from that. And today, as long as I had the bit up in his mouth, he would get in and be very clever, and if there was one there, he'd come for me. But he wouldn't have done that early season. But he's learnt as he's gone along, and today's the end package, and it's all credit to Alan really, because he didn't do as much over hurdles as he probably could have done. But then we wouldn't have had a horse this year to go to war with. They're not machines. They've only got a certain amount of miles they can probably do, and it's all credit to Alan really. I've just steered him round, so it's easy.
I was just about to demur. You've got to take some credit for yourself, because you've helped to make this horse the jumper, the chaser that he is.
No, he wasn't straightforward to begin with, but I think the fences have made the horse that he is. To be honest, he's a straightforward ride now. Like I say, his jumping was impeccable today. Obviously you've got question marks about coming around here with fences, but he was A1 today. Didn't miss a beat, so couldn't ask for more.
And you've got big shoes. You've had big shoes to fill. Alan was talking about the team and all of the time he's been training. He had Chuck Thornton, and then he had Wayne Hutchison, and now you stepped into those shoes. I mean, this is an exciting moment for you on your first festival win, the biggest success of your career, and so much to look forward to. Yeah, no, it is. No, there's a lot to look forward to. It's a big wheel that keeps on turning. They might not have had the horses the last couple of years, but they'll come again soon. And for me, it's great. It feels like it's been a long time coming, but it's just. It doesn't matter how well you're doing this game, it always feels like you're treading water. So, I'll enjoy the moment today and hopefully build on it and see what else we can do. It's hugely deserved, Tom. Many, many congratulations. I'll let you enjoy it now.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
Quite a bit of the feel-good.
First festival success since Uxisandra in the Ryanair in 2015. His third Arkle win with a horse that he maintained was more talented than the other two. Alan King has won the Arkle with Edwardstone, and he had to be good. There was plenty going on around him.
It was, we missed the carnage at the third or whatever. I was only half watching at the time. We could easily got brought down there. And I thought, well, maybe luck's on our side. But he's done it really well. I think Tom's giving him a cracking ride. And I'm just relieved. I mean, it's... I'm going to say I'm not high at the minute, but that'll be later, but just relieved and thrilled for the horse and the connections. They're wonderful. So
I think it's a tribute to your campaigning as well, because you've taken him to a lot of races. He's shown his stuff, and that experience I think would have stood him in such good stead for a race like that, don't you think?
Yeah, but it's the way we've always trained the good horses, I mean, I don't think Voipor came here under-raced or my way, and it's all been reasonably spaced out, he had a break after Kempton and Warwick was what we wanted, and I'm just it's great to see Tom as well. So.
Well, it was a ride of real composure, wasn't it?
Well, he's riding out of his skin at the minute, and he did a double yesterday, and, it's just, he's a great lad, and I'm lucky to have him. And,
I think we all are after that.
No, it's good. I've been 22 years, and he's only my third stable jockey. And I was very spoilt with Chalk, and then Wayne, and now we've got Tom, and it means a lot. It means a lot to me, and I'm just thrilled for everyone.
Yeah, it says a lot about your team spirit and your operation. Well, I think it does. Did you ever have any worries? I mean, much has been made about him being an 8-year-old. That was there any concern about that?
Well, I don't think we started racing until he was 5. He's just, as I said the other week, he's just been 2 or 3 years in the making. We always thought he was very good. I mean, I couldn't win a bumper with him, but if you look at the bumper at Warwick, I mean, my God, he took on 2 superstars. And he used to over-race a little bit as a novice, and he's got better and better. And those big handicaps last year just made him, and then the fences. And it's he's always had the potential, but these good horses don't happen overnight.
No, I was going to say, that drawing back from his initial novice campaign, again, I think the tribute to how you've trained him. You've had to make him as well as him bring the talent.
Well, it's been a team effort. The staff at home do a great job. Tom does a great job on him. And he was running very well on those big handicaps, last year. We used to have to ride him out the back because he was pulling too much. And he was still finishing 4th or 5th, but making up probably 20 lengths. Now over a fence, we can sit him just off the pace. And it's a lot easier for all of them. So.
It's the way he jumps as well, isn't it? What do you think about the second?
People have doubted his jumping. Well, I don't know. I've never had too many worries about it.
Many congratulations.
Thanks, Lydia. Thank you.
Fiercely competitive Ultima Handicap chase. The Grade 3 up next over 3 miles and a furlong. 15-2 the field. Fleur, the Irish raider for Gordon Elliott at the top of the market.
Well, at the moment, last year's winner, Vintage Clouds, is facing the wrong way on his 6th appearance in this race. He should know which way to go by now. Jericho Rock is broadside, and There are a few of these who need to sort themselves out before we're set to go. Still Jericho Rock broadside. Balagas turning out the back. Foxy Jacks is being asked to take a turn, being led round. And I think Robbie Supple has asked them all to take a turn by the looks of things. That's it. They're off. We're set to go for the Ultima Handicap Chase. It's a short run to the first of 20 scheduled fences. Frodon is up there down on the inner white cap for Bryony Frost, but didn't have the lead over the first. They've all got over it nimbly enough. Balagas is the early back marker, and they move on sharply to the second. And Kilteely Briggs for the McNeil family, the maroon cap and sleeves, leads them as they meet rising ground for the first time. To last year's winner, the grey Vintage Clouds. Run to Milan in a blue and yellow jacket is disputing second. Fantasticus in the black and white is right behind the leading trio. Working across from him to One More Flurry in a green and white jacket, and Jericho Rock with the striped sleeves crossing the third. Again Balagas the back marker over it, couple of lengths adrift. Korak Rambler in the purple and yellow is also towards the rear early, with Discordantly and Foxy Jackson, Our Power and Death Duty and Noble Yates are just in front of that cluster, and they run a gentle descent on towards the fourth. Taken to it by Kilteely Briggs and Vintage Clouds, who are almost as one on landing. Dr. Duffy in the spots towards the rear wasn't fluent there. Moving on towards the water. Kilteely Briggs, Vintage Clouds, Run to Milan and Jericho Rock out wide. Four in a line crossing the water. Does He Know in a sheepskin noseband is right behind them with One More Flurry and Fantasticus, and then full back in the dark blue and pink about 3 lengths off the lead. Oscar Elite towards the far side in orange jacket, being shadowed by Our Power as they take the first of the ditches, where again Balagas was the back marker. Korak Rambler is last but one. Rapper in a grey jacket is in midfield meanwhile to Lost in Translation in the yellow as they take another plain fence, then another of the greys, Grumpy Charlie. Ben Dundee in the stripes is towards the inside and is slipstreaming Frodon against the rail. He hasn't got to the front, Frodon, and he settles in about 8th or 9th position, some 5 or 6 lengths off the leader. Fleur, meanwhile, slightly worse than Mearsfield in the black and pink as they take the ditch at the top of the hill for the first time. Ben Dundee was a bit long at that one, had to be gathered up sharply on landing. So the first 8 fences behind them, and they now make the descent down the hill with Kilteely Briggs and Jericho Rock disputing it. A couple of lengths up on Vintage Clouds, Fantasticus and the nose-banded Does He Know. And then One More Flurry, so full back. Run to Milan has just drifted back a little through the field. Oscar Elite and widest of all then to Our Power, followed by Fleur and Foxy Jackson, a white jacket. Meanwhile, Noble Yates, orange sleeves, held up just behind mid-division as they cross the next, followed over by Death Duty. Frodon is towards the inside still. From Grumpy Charlie and Rapper, T-Clipper held up in midfield. Ben Dundee is 3/4 of the way back discordantly. Balagas, Korak Rambler and Dr. Duffy are the last quartet as they prepare to turn on in, complete a circuit and head on towards fence 10. There'd be about 12 or 15 lengths covering the field. Kilteely Briggs against the rail, still upside Jericho Rock. Does He Know turns in just about third. His nose-banded head away to the left, just through the top there, nodded slightly on landing. Vintage Clouds has begun to lose his position. He's only about 5 lengths off the lead, but he's lost 3 or 4 places, shuffled along as they prepare to embark upon one further circuit. Lost in Translation made quite a serious mistake there. Dr. Duffy is struggling, he's last of all, detached by 6 lengths. Korak Rambler is last of those still going in the main group, and they head up now towards fence 12, and as they draw to it, it is Kilteely Briggs who hops over narrowly ahead of Jericho Rock and Does He Know, and One More Flurry in the green and white, followed by Fantasticus. T-Clipper in the noseband and Frodon, who's cut in the corner from Run to Milan. And then Our Power on the outer to Lost in Translation and fullback, and Grumpy Charlie, followed by Oscar Elite and Foxy Jackson, Noble Yates and Vintage Clouds, and then Ben Dundee as they take the first across the far side. And Does He Know made a mistake at that one. Still out the back of the field, Dr. Duffy and Balagas and Korak Rambler and Discordantly, and Rapper in a grey jacket is well back. Fleur is still ridden with great patience, black and pink, 3/4 of the way through the field as they take the water for the final time, and now head on towards the penultimate ditch, fence 15. Whole field covered by a little more than 10 or 12 lengths other than Dr. Duffy, who's off them, and it's Jericho Rock and Kilteely Briggs who took the next, still as one, with Does He Know very close there, and then Fantasticus and one more flurry in the green and white to the nose-banded T Clipper. Our Power, Run to Milan, Foxy Jack's deepest of all in the white silks. Bad mistake from Grumpy Charlie there, the grey was down in his nose. Vintage Clouds has completely lost his place. He's out the back now with Discordantly and Korak Rambler. Fleur is still yet to be put in the race in the black and pink. He's upsized Death Duty in the maroon and white, and they're alongside Rapper as they take the ditch, 4 out. Jericho Rock was in front there from Kilteely Briggs. Then the nose-banded pair of T Clipper and Does He Know and Our Power in the cheek pieces. Foxy Jackson, a white jacket, is next as they start the descent, being followed by Fantasticus. One more flurry. Oscar Elite, Run to Milan, Lost in Translation, a yellow jacket, and then Belagus and Ben Dundee in the stripes. Fleur is still a long way back. He's in behind Noble Yates, the orange sleeves, who receives a reminder or two. Death Duty is shaken up to try and close. Further back to Korak Rambler and Rapper and full back, and then Discordantly and Vintage Clouds. Dr. Duffy last of those still going. Grumpy Charlie pulled up, and over the third last it was Jericho Rock in front. Oscar Elite on the outer with the big white faces moving into it with Our Power. Fantasticus, the black and white, and T Clipper in the noseband, and they round out the leading 5 as they swing for home. A break of a couple of lengths to Death Duty, Maroon Jacket staying on. Frost is working away on Frodon, trying to get him competitive, and then Lost in Translation as they swing to face the final 2 fences. Korak Rambler from a long way back, purple and yellow stays on. Jericho Rock in front of the second last, joined on the near side by Oscar Elite. These two move on together as they approach the final fence of the Ultima. Jericho Rock and Oscar Elite as one. Korak Rambler in third is still staying on. He's bearing down on them, has to switch. Jericho Rock, Oscar Elite, Korak Rambler threads the eye of the needle, surges for the front close home, and stays on strongly, and it's Korak Rambler for Scotland who wins the Ultima. From Jericho Rock and Oscar Elite, it was close for fourth between T Clipper and Our Power, and then Fantasticus and Death Duty.
Korak Rambler takes the Ultima for Derek Fox, Lucinda Russell and the Ramblers. 10-1 winner. Second, Jericho Rock, 9-1. Third, Oscar Elite, 22-1. Fourth, T Clipper, 12-1. A British 1-2-3-4 in the Ultima, and Korak Rambler has come late to nab another prize at Cheltenham. He was a course and distance winner in a novice handicap chase back in December, and he looked that day to have finished with a little bit left in the tank. He needed to be produced late by Derek Fox, and although the fourth start didn't really help him, it might have been the making of him. He's been able to get there as late as he could be and takes the Ultima.
The winning horse is a Goffs horse.
Another Irish-bred Cheltenham Festival winner. Contact Irish Thoroughbred Marketing to find yours.
Korak Rambler has just won the Ultima. Lucinda Russell, of course, is his trainer. That's a remarkable horse. I think you're virtually speechless, aren't you?
It's just unbelievable. You're going to start me crying on TV, but he just... he's such a lovely horse. His breeder has a share in him. Skew does everything with him at home. We just love him. He is quirky, he is odd, but he just so deserves to win a race at Cheltenham. I'm just delighted for everyone.
It's a super ride from Derek, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. So when he missed the, at the start with the false starts and stuff, and he's at the back, and I turned to one of the owners and I said, we're going to have a vintage Derek Fox hold-up ride. And we did. We had a vintage Derek Fox hold-up ride. He just... it's funny because it kind of suits the horse as well. That he loves coming through horses like that. He is just a bit odd, he's a bit quirky, but he's just lovely, just perfect.
The way he bounded up the hill was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we kind of knew that. He'd run round here before, and I'm just so pleased, delighted.
And so when you say he's quirky, I mean, we see it in the races. What's he like at home?
He's just quirky. I've said it before, he and Skew rides him all the time, and both of them are as quirky as each other. They go off. I want them to do 2 canters or whatever, and they go off and they canter around the grass. It's just hopeless. You can't control either of them. And it just suits Korak. Some of these horses need that little bit of individual attention, and he just loves it. He's just brave and jumps well, and just well done Derek as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a superb ride for him. And how about the Brown Advisory Ahoy? What do you think after that?
Funny, I've just thought about that. Oh my lord. I don't know if I can take it, but yeah, no, Hoist Nuri's in great form. Jamie just said to me, she was leading around the yard, she said he just belongs here, so I just hope that he comes up trumps tomorrow.
It's very exciting. Are you and Skew camped out here?
We're staying with Skew's sister, so we can actually have a shower, so we smell quite good, thank you.
Well, it's an absolutely brilliant performance. Well done, Lucinda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm standing by Peter Scudamore. I'm not going to keep him long because you'll want to get this reception. But you and he, Lucinda was just describing how you always ride this horse out and you know the horse backwards and you're as quirky as each other, I hear.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. But so I think sometimes as a jockey you don't get close to horses. But over the last few years training them, I felt that I've got closer and closer to them. And riding out again has helped me understand them a little bit more. And he's just grown up in the last few years. Look, look, I've been lucky and Lucy's done a fantastic job training with him, but what a ride. I don't think Derek Fox gets anywhere near, I mean, I would say that, wouldn't all trainers say, but he's an extraordinary man that's got a quite unbelievable association and understanding of a horse. It's that only a few of the elite jockeys have got.
He needed that there as well because one, the horse is a little bit quirky, but the full start as well, he was going to have to come through and deliver a vintage ride, a vintage Derek Fox ride.
Yeah, I find it difficult that people call him quirky, but
really? I do it so fondly.
No, I wasn't getting. I'm not Nicky Henderson. No, he is just. That's what I was trying to say. You've got to understand him. He wants to come late. That's what he'll pick up. He's the only horse that I've ever seen that can work with a Hoist Senior. So that's a good sign for tomorrow.
It is a good sign for tomorrow. And I hear Hoist Senior is well.
Yeah, he's well. I mean, we always so dependent on our staff, so I'd like to say thank you to all the staff at home and especially to Jamie Duff, our travelling head girl, and she said these two horses, they come here, it's hard to believe, but they just are part of Cheltenham, that they know that, that they just stand up when they get here, and it's the same, some people playing an international to stand up, don't they, and these two horses do, so let's hope Hank Hoist Senior does the same tomorrow.
Let's hope so. I'm not going to hold you back any longer. Go and enjoy the moment.
Thank you very much indeed.
Derek Fox is alongside me. Lucinda Russell was just telling me that after the full start, she turned to one of the owners of Corach Rambler in the stand and said, you were going to need a vintage Derek Fox ride there in order to win. And that, I think, is just what you delivered. Talk me through it.
Yeah, he was just slow away at the start and over the first two, but Skew had said to be patient on him if they were going quick, but probably ended up further back than we'd planned. But listen, I just had to ride him from where I was left after the second fence, and no, I listed the horse in great order. Skew bought him at the sales, and he's always loved him. He rides him out himself, looks after him very well. And no, I just have to thank Skew and Lucinda for giving me the ride on him. But really, he was in great order for today, and no, he flew home, and he's plenty of ability.
When you started working your way through the field, when were you starting to think, I'm in with a shout here?
I knew if I got a good run, I'd be placed, and that's what I was working for after being so far back, and I'd get him into a place. And then obviously just up the hill, he stayed very, very well, and stuck his head down in the last 50 yards, and it was just brilliant. Worked out really well. It didn't exactly go to plan, but worked out really well, and just delighted.
And is he a bit quirky? Is he a horse that repays knowing?
Possibly, I suppose. Yeah, he does. Even if. By times, even in his small runner novice chases, he can drop the bridle a wee bit, and he won round here early in the year in his small runner novice chase, and he did pull up a wee bit on front, so probably good for him to have something to aim at. But no, he's a brilliant horse for me to have ridden and have to ride on, and I feel very lucky to be riding him, and no, just delighted.
He's a huge talent, I think, as are you. You've won a Grand National, now you've got your first Cheltenham Festival winner. How are you feeling right now?
It's brilliant, yeah, no, that's your... Yeah, it's lovely to win big races, and especially somewhere like here. So no, just over the moon, can't believe it.
And also, I think for Lucinda and for Peter, it's such a close-knit operation. You're all there rooting for each other at all times. That must add to the specialness of the occasion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Lucinda and Skew are very good to me and give me loads of opportunities, and it's great to be able to repay them a small bit and pick up a few nice races for them. So no, I'm very lucky to be riding for them. So brilliant.
I think it's not just luck, Derek. That was absolutely fantastic. Many, many congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
The feature up next, the Unibet Champion Hurdle Challenge Trophy, a Grade 1 over 2 miles and 87 yards. Honeysuckle looking to go back-to-back in the big one, 11-8 on to do it.
They're off for the Unibet Champion Hurdle of 2022. They get away on level terms, Not So Sleepy had a little bit of a think about it, as Appreciated leads them over the first, and he establishes himself 2 or 3 lengths clear with Not So Sleepy with the white face himself adopting a handy position. Tommy's Oscar in the green and red is racing freely in the chasing line. Rachel Blackmore, Pale Silks, Honeysuckle out wide. Zana here with the red cap is handy, racing just in advance of Epatante, the hoops with the white cap. Tia Hupuo, the black sleeve, settling towards midfield. Sarawar, the star on the cap, is among those held up with Adagio in a striped sleeve jacket, and Glory and Fortune in the sheepskin noseband is the early back marker, making this lengthy gallop between flights 1 and 2, and it's Appreciated and the white face Not So Sleepy who lead the Champion Hurdle field early. Followed over the third by Zana here, and then from the rail across, Epatante, Tia Hupuo, Tommy's Oscar and Honeysuckle circling them. Glory and Fortune continues to be held up with Adagio and Savoir as they take rising ground on the run towards the first of the flights over on the far side. Appreciated and Paul Townend leading the field at no more than a swinging gallop. There's little more than 7 or 8 lengths covering them. Not So Sleepy races a close second. Couple of lengths away to Zana here, the red cap, racing in third. And then Honeysuckle towards the far side, tracked there by Adagio. White-faced Tommy's Oscar waited within midfield. Epatante towards the near side of Tia Hupuo, the black sleeves. Glory and Fortune and Savoir the final 2, and they're all neatly enough over that. So they run steadily towards the halfway point. Still very tightly grouped up. Appreciated has company in front now, Not So Sleepy alongside, and Zana here is a very close third. Honeysuckle next with Epatante, and then Tia Hupuo, the white-faced Tommy's Oscar, from Adagio, the striped sleeves, and just a length and a half away to the nose-banded Glory and Fortune, who's upside Savoir. About to race across the top of the track, heading towards the 5th. And it's Appreciated, and the white face Not So Sleepy. To the wide racing Zana here, and Honeysuckle Blackmore sitting quietly. Epatante, white cap on the end, a good leap from the leader there, Appreciated. Tia Hupuo ridden quietly, no more than 4 lengths off the lead ahead of Adagio and Tommy's Oscar, and then Glory and Fortune, and just last is Savoir as they prepare to descend. Freewheeling now, they've got 3 left to jump in the Unibet Champion Hurdle. Appreciated has made just about every inch so far. Not So Sleepy at his quarters, and Zana here racing a very close third. Honeysuckle climbing all over them at this stage in 4th, and Epatante is up her in a right alongside. The mares stare each other in the eye as they bear down on the third last. Appreciated and Zana here landing 1st and 2nd. Adagio made a bad mistake, has become a bit outpaced. Now Honeysuckle comes between horses, moving up threateningly. Epatante is on their heels as they close in on the second last. Less than half a mile to go, and Honeysuckle is moving through to dispute it with Appreciated and Zana here. 3 in a line as they make the final turn. Epatante in 4th, chasing, being asked, and now Blackmore shakes up the mare, and Honeysuckle strides on. She bounds 2 lengths clear, chased by Appreciated, the green sleeves, then Zana here. Epatante is running on under pressure. It's Honeysuckle down towards the last, pursued by Epatante, 2 former winners. Honeysuckle defending a crown, lands a couple clear. Epatante untidy. Zana here in 3rd, Savoir staying on 4th, but it's Honeysuckle in full bloom again. She stays on powerfully. Back-to-back wins in the Unibet Champion Hurdle. Honeysuckle again. Epatante chased her in vain. Zana here was 3rd, and then Savoir, Glory and Fortune, Not So Sleepy and Appreciated.
15 out of 15 for Honeysuckle, back-to-back victories in the Champion Hurdle, 11-8 on favourite scores for Rachel Blackmore, Henry de Bromhead and Kenny Alexander. 2nd, Epatante, 16-1. 3rd, Zana here, 28-1. And whatever way you try and beat her, so far it hasn't worked. Honeysuckle remains a perfect 15 for 15, and what a performance. It did look like it might get a little bit tasty after the last, with Epatante coming back for more, but in a matter of strides this mare picked up again. She put the race to bed, and from there on in they were seeing a familiar sight, those in behind. Her tail. She is unbeaten at the moment, doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon.
winning horse is a Goffs horse.
It's another Tattersall's National Hunt winner.
Nicky's just saluted the crowd. The crowd have gone wild, and you said you weren't relaxed beforehand. How are you feeling now, Henry?
Oh, just blown away, blown away. She's just, the pair of them, they're just awesome. I thought Epatante was going to come and do us, and she just, yeah, she's just awesome. Yeah, it's, you know, you dreamt of her getting a Cheltenham welcome, you know, and she's going to get it. So, yeah, it's just unbelievable. Yeah.
What was the feeling for you like watching Rachel go through and hit the front?
Yeah, look, everything went right for her, you know. Yeah, but I just saw Aidan lurking on Epatante in behind, and yeah, you know, like class mare as well. So yeah, amazing, just amazing. I actually can't believe it again.
To train a mare like her, what's it like?
Oh, sure, it's a joy. You know, we're blessed to have her, and we just feel extremely lucky. She's incredible. She's incredible. Yeah, I said to myself, I wouldn't say this, but I will. Quite after Matt Chapman's comments, we might ask him to go in and make those comments in the stable to her there later on this evening. See how he gets on.
Listen, delighted for you. Well done.
Thanks
and you can get a reception, so can she.
Thanks a million.
And her rider is, of course, Rachel Blackmore, a second champion hurdle on Honeysuckle, 15 straight unbeaten starts. And I think that reception you and she just got was what we owed you from last year, wasn't it?
It was incredible, to be honest. Walking back down that chute, I've never felt anything like that. There wasn't a moment's silence. It was incredible. The people here, you know, it's just an amazing crowd, an amazing atmosphere. You know, it's easy to say that when you're winning, but like it's a very special place, and walking back in here to those cheers is just so special.
And I think they appreciate her brilliance and her resilience, the way she finds a way to win. Talk me through this race.
Yeah, look, she always finds a way. She really does. I was kind of wider than I'd like everywhere. Wasn't maybe as happy halfway around, but I just slotted in behind, and we got our gap then. But oh, look, it was fantastic. So happy that Kenny Alexander is here as well. Like he's a really good man and a class owner, and I'm really glad he is getting cheered onto the podium now.
And Honeysuckle just did a complete circuit of the paddock, got clapped and cheered all the way around. What does she mean to you?
She's just incredible. Like, you know, jockeys, you know, dream of getting on good horses, but she takes that to a whole new level. You know, she's special. She's once in a lifetime. And I'm so lucky to be riding her.
And the confidence she must have in her, that the way that she settles races with that turn of foot that she has.
Yeah, like I part of me was thinking, you know, I should be more nervous here before the race, but I actually do have a lot of confidence in her, but it'd be weird if I didn't, because she's never let me down, and she's just incredible. And like, you know, I don't know, you know, Henry gets her to the races every day, and that's in the form he does, and you know, that's an extremely tough feat for anyone to train a horse or a mare to win all those races consecutively. So unbelievable.
She is one of the greats, and now you're about to get your reception as well, and again we owe you this too. Many congratulations, Rachel.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is the reception that Kenny Alexander was denied last year when Honeysuckle won her first champion hurdle. You were here for her Close Brothers Mare's hurdle success, but not last year. What a reception.
That's an amazing reception. I mean, I've missed a lot of our races for the COVID and, you know, when I was working and all that, but I've been to see her all the races this year, and this was amazing. This was amazing. I was at Leopardstown and Fairhouse, then this one today, which is a different class, and I must admit my ball was crashing leading up to the race. I began to have real doubts. I went to see her on the track at 6 a.m. this morning. I saw David Casey with a big smile on his face and appreciate it, and I thought he's going to do me probably, but we managed to do it. Rachel said before the race she's going to ride the same as last year, be positive, kick on. She kicked, and it was hard work for her, but yeah, she got the job done. And, you know, she's a fantastic ride, and you know, a great training performance for Henry. He's a great guy, and he's a great trainer.
Run me through how you were feeling as the race was developing, because Rachel has just said it didn't really go exactly how she would ideally have wanted.
I haven't really spoken to her. I think she had a few sticky jumps. She seemed to be travelling all right, but then when she kicked and that acceleration, Yeah, I thought she's going to. I thought that was it, and then she just Epatante gave us a bit of a scare, going over the last one up the straight, up the hill. But yeah, I don't know what my blood pressure is at the moment, but it's not going to be good, and I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's an amazing thrill. I've got so many friends and family here as well. My wife's here, which is an added bonus this year. She's never been to Cheltenham before. So it was great. It was great. I'm a huge racing fan. I always have been. It's just a dream to own a horse like that. And yeah, now I've got another runner coming up.
I know. Tell me something, girl.
Yeah, she's got a chance. She's got a chance.
I'd say so.
But it's a free roll now. I've got one on Thursday. This is the one that I want to win the other two, but really and truly I don't really care really much now. I just want to go and have a good drink and enjoy myself really.
You own one of the hurdling greats.
Yeah, I do. And I've been here. I stood down there and watched Kavega, I've seen Apples Jade, Annie Power. Fortunately, Annie Power when she fell in that 1 year, and they're all greats, and she's joined them. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's fair to compare them really, but she is one of the greats for sure now, and she's never beaten. She will be one day, but I'm just going to enjoy today.
And tell me, mentioning of blood pressure, tell me what that trademark turn of foot that she has. What does that do to you as an owner?
Well, it's a relief, because if she didn't have it, she'd get chinned. But no, that's what I mean. Rachel did say before. I said I was worried I'd appreciate it, but she said no. I think I've got more gears than appreciate it. So, and she was fortunate today. She was proved right. And she's an amazing jockey, Rachel. I mean, she's a lovely girl, a lovely person, but she's a nailed-on professional, born winner. It was a great ride today, because all the pressure. If she made one mistake today, she didn't.
I can see all the emotion pulsing through you.
Yeah, no, it's been a fantastic day. I'm glad so many people here with me to enjoy it. I think I made an arse of myself after the last of my celebrations, but if you can't enjoy a day like this, then as you say, what was the point? One of your colleagues asked me if I was nervous before the race. I said, yeah, if you don't get nervous today, when are you ever going to get nervous? There's no point in owning them. I get nervous when they're running in Mickey Mouse races, but today was nerve-wracking, but got the job done. And I better go off and...
yes, well, I'll wish you best of luck with the free roll, and congratulations.
Cheers.
Nicky Henderson with me. There's lots of applause for Honeysuckle Connections. How do you feel about your mare, Epatante? Are you proud of how she's run?
Well, I think you'd have to be very proud for the girls today, wouldn't you? Because Epatante's run a fantastic race, and I think, we rather felt she was back to somewhere near. Yeah, she was on a bit of a walkabout last season. This year she's been slick and sharp, and she was very good at Kempton at Christmas, and we came on here, we knew what we were taking on, but she made a bit of a race of it anyway, and fair play to her. She's still a very good mare. They're two. I wonder how long it's been since a mares finished first and second in a champion hurdle.
Well, mares have now, they've dominated this division for the last few years, haven't they?
They have, exactly. Yeah, between her and the two of them, yeah. They're two very good mares.
It must be a great race to be part of, and I don't say that to take anything away from Epatante, who's run a great race, but it feels quite a moment.
Well, it is, because Honeysuckle is very special, and she's a crowd pleaser of enormous proportions. And, when you have these horses, and we've been lucky enough to see a few, the crowd really, there's something very special about them, and she's a real heroine. And I say we're very honoured and pleased to have finished second, and she's run. You couldn't have asked for more.
Thanks, Nicky. Well done. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Next up, it was the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle, another Grade 1 on the day. This one over 2.5 miles. Stormy Island headed up one of the most open affairs for years, 7-2, narrowly ahead of Queensbrook and Tell Me Something Girl.
So coming forward to the tape, centre of the course here, 2.5 mile trip. They're off. Racing for the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle. They jumped 10 flights of hurdles here with Stormy Island, pink sleeve jacket to the right. One of the first leaders, the tangerine jacket, Heaven Help Us, is with her as they get over number 1, where Tell Me Something Girl in the very pale jacket was the back marker. Western Victories between the two leaders. It's a short run to number 2, which they jump now, and they all take successfully. A red cap for Queensbrook is running in 4th place. She's very narrowly ahead of Burning Victory, very popular in the market beforehand. Sean O'Keefe in quarters of yellow and brown. Then comes Mari's Rock towards the running rail, a light blue jacket. The grey Martello Sky is wide of her, and Indefatigable, 2 shades of blue between those as they turn into the home straight for the first time. Then Mrs. Milner, short run when they level up on towards number 3. Nada de Prada in orange and black is next, with the light blue of Tell Me Something Girl around the outside of her. And Echoes in Rain is the back marker as they jump over the 3rd. Be about 10 lengths first to last here. And these dozen mares now headed by Western Victory. 5 of these are already Cheltenham Festival winners. And they run down towards a long run now towards number 4. Onto the right is Stormy Island. Pink sleeves with a green cap. She's still just about in 2nd. Heaven Help Us towards the left. Tangerine Jacket, winner of the Coral Cup last year, runs in 3rd place. Queensbrook, white and green colours, is next. Alongside a previous Triumph Hurdle winner, Burning Victory, in the yellow and brown corded jacket. Right over the far side, find the noseband of Mari's Rock. She's going to be about 6th at the moment. Halfway down the field, the grey Martello Sky is nearest the grandstand as they jump over number 4. Indefatigable, won the 2020 running of the Martin Pipe, is next. And then comes Mrs. Milner, winner of the Pertemps last year, races in company with Tell Me Something Girl, who won the Mares Novices Hurdle 12 months ago. Echoes in Rain is next. That's the half jacket of red and green, and she's just moved ahead of Nada de Prada, the one who went very much earlier than the others to the start. So they run now to number 5 of 10 that they take in this Close Brothers Mares Hurdle, and Western Victory and Tom Bellamy still leading. Danny Mullins on Heaven Help Us, maybe just in 2nd. The far side of Paul Townend on Stormy Island. Burning Victory, Sean O'Keefe travels strongly. The yellow cap up the outside as they jump this. With those is Queensbrook, Jack Kennedy, white and green jacket, a red cap, and then Bryony Frost on the grey Martello Sky. Nico de Boinville next, the nose-banded Mari's Rock, alongside Mrs. Milner and Brian Cooper. Then comes Rachel Blackmore, Tell Me Something, is alongside Patrick Mullins on Echoes in Rain. Nada de Prada and Richard Patrick, the back markers as they clear the next flight of hurdles, and Nada de Prada 2 or 3 lengths behind the others. So now up towards the top of the hill they go, with Western Victory only very narrowly in front. Heaven Help Us is close in 2nd. Martello Sky, a move, has moved into 3rd place. Indefatigable around the outside with Rex Dingle. And then comes Stormy Island. Queensbrook in company with those. There's about a length then to Mrs. Milner in company with Mari's Rock. Burning Victory wide of those. A move now from Tell Me Something. Very pale jacket going widest on the course as they race to the top of the hill. Echoes in Rain is behind those. Now they turn left-handed and begin the run with only 3 more to jump. Nada de Prada in close company with the others. All to play for as they run down with 3 flights of hurdles to take. And it's Western Victory and Heaven Help Us with Martello Sky. Indefatigable, Tell Me Something on the extreme left making progress. Stormy Island is bang in contention with the leaders. Behind this is Mrs. Milner. And these are followed by Mari's Diamond trying to make progress. They approach the 2nd last flight of hurdles. And as they do so, Queensbrook with the red cap. On the right, Heaven Help Us. Martello Sky, Indefatigable was a faller and has brought him down Tell Me Something Girl. And as they run towards the last term now, it's Queensbrook and Heaven Help Us. This pair together moving on to Mari's Diamond with the noseband moving into 3rd. Martello Sky is next. Behind these, running on Echoes in Rain. On the right is Stormy Island. This is still wide open at the last flight of hurdles. It was a very narrow lead for Queensbrook to Mari's Rock nearest to us in the light blue jacket, who's beginning to get up. Mari's Rock and Nico de Boinville have come through to win. Mari's Rock is the winner. 2nd position go to Queensbrook. Behind those, Mrs. Milner, Stormy Island and Echoes in Rain.
Marie's Rock wins 18-1 for Nico de Boinville. Nicky Henderson double on the day for them. This one for Midland Park Racing. 2nd Queensbrook 4-1. 3rd Mrs. Milner 14-1. There was carnage at the top of the hill with Indefatigable falling. bringing down Tell Me Something Girl. Thankfully, horses and jockeys okay, but unaffected near over the other side of the racecourse was Maryse Rock, who has roared back to form in the same form as last time at Warwick when winning a 2 mile 5 listed hurdle. She has a turn of foot that comes in extremely handy in these types of races. And while plenty were snapping at her heels and coming on late, notably Mrs. Milner, who got caught up in the melee, it was too late. Maryse Rock takes the mares.
The winning horse is a Goffs horse.
Another Irish-bred Cheltenham Festival winner. Contact Irish Thoroughbred Marketing to find yours.
Thank you. Well, on the first day of the 2022 Cheltenham Festival, Nico de Boinville is a dual Grade 1 winner. Constitution Hill, who was marvellous in the first, and now Maryse Rock has won the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle. I'd say it's going well. What would you say?
Very much. I mean, I was sort of riding her for a place because I was fully aware that it was a very, there's a bit of depth to this race coming into this, and she's been progressing slowly through sort of small 6-runner fields and things like that, and I wasn't sure how she's going to take the extra runners in the field, and to be fair, they've got a really nice gallop which has suited her nicely, and I thought she jumped impeccably today and didn't miss a beat. So
it's interesting to hear they've got a good gallop, because we were arguing amongst ourselves whether that was the case, because they were so bunched up in the closing stages. Is that just because of the quality of the horses?
I think so. They're all rated around 140, 145, and if it was a handicap, there wouldn't be much in it. So yeah, I think that a lot of them have similar abilities, and she's just very gutsy, and it's a lot of credit that the governor takes all of this, because he's been very patient with her. We thought she was going to win the Mares Novices Hurdle back when she got an injury, and then last year she never showed up for whatever reason, and the boss has just had to be patient with her and sit on her, and this year she's just been coming along nicely, which is great.
I think it's a marvellous training performance, because she was very, very brilliant when she was young, but a little bit hot as well, and then, as you say, things sort of went missing with her a bit, and he's brought her back to this. Do you think the trip has helped her?
Definitely. She was running over 2 miles back then on sort of soft, heavy ground, and but I think she needs a nice solid gallop over the first few just to knock the fizz out of her.
And talk me through the closing stages and what you were thinking as everything was happening around you.
I knew there was enough space to sort of go in between gaps and sort of just, I wanted to give her something to sort of ease her way through and try and take her to the last, and then hopefully get a nice one at the last. And you're always going a slightly sort of brave man's route there, and you're always hoping that the gaps appear, and luckily she was travelling well enough that they did.
And were you feeling confident that you could pick up Jack Kennedy on Queensborough?
I wasn't sure. I didn't know how much he had left, really. I couldn't really tell, but I thought if he missed the last and I had a nice jump, then that would put me right onto his girths, and then we could see where we were.
It's a fantastic day with these 2 wins. You must be delighted with how it's gone.
Yeah, over the moon, and now we'll be fully focused on tomorrow and onwards and upwards.
Absolutely, and also something for the Midland Park Racing Syndicate as well. It's great to have a syndicate winner at the Cheltenham Festival. I think that's really important for the future of the sport.
Completely. There's so many people in the paddock today involved, and the connections are all here, and I know there are lots watching at home as well who are involved with her, and they've been terrific supporters of the stable. Across the board on the flat and over jumps as well, and to have that sort of outfit who keep pumping in horses to us, and I'm just delighted that it's all worked out on the big stage for them.
Congratulations, and full speed ahead for tomorrow.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Lydia. Thank you.
2 winners on the day for Nicky Henderson. Constitution Hill's mighty performance in the Supreme, and now Maryse Rock winning the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle. Now, you strongly fancied this horse, didn't you? And I think many people thought you were having a rush of blood to the head, but you were completely right. What had you seen in her that you thought this race would be ideal for her?
Well, if you go back 2 years, she was actually nearly favourite for the Mares Novice Hurdle. And she went wrong, it was heartbreaking, literally a week before, which was cruel. And then last year, we got her back last year, and she went AWOL, and I couldn't find her at all. She had a summer up with Jill Duffield, in the north, lovely summer. Came back, and it was plainly obvious she was just a different girl again. First run, she won very well at Kempton. Then the Lanzarote went wrong because she jumped into a horse at the first hurdle. But where I thought we really had got there was at Warwick, in that listed race there, that she was good and she finished very strong. And I mean, that's her. She could, she just wants burying away, and then she'll fight. She's tough.
Yes.
She'll fight. And, there must have been a dozen in front of her, two out, but probably still 10 in front of her at the last. But I was always just happy enough, you know. She's a hardy girl. She's sweet.
She's done, I think you and the team, you mentioned all the people that they've contributed to bringing her back. I think you've done such a magnificent job because she was a little hot as well in her early days. Full of talent, wasn't she?
She was. But I'm thrilled. I mean, Midland Park, it's a great outfit. And Tom Palin, who looked after it, and it must have been difficult for them all last year. We had such dreams of her 2 years ago and then had to go through a wilderness last year. And Tom managed his troops very skillfully because there must have been doubters and everything, you know, and they run a really good show. And, you know, she was fighting her way back this year and she's come back, and we were always going to have a go at this, whatever happened. And, yeah, it's paid off. And to see a team like there is here today having a, you know, it's, well, you know this is special, and to them, I hope it is.
Yeah, I think it's important for racing as well, isn't it, that syndicates are here on the big stage and
well,
lifting
it is.
trophies.
Cheltenham's looked after them incredibly well because there's a huge team of, you know, that they've allowed to come and be a part of the party, and that means an awful lot.
Absolutely. You must be very proud and satisfied with her, but you also must be very proud with Epatante because she ran an absolute stormer in the Champion Hurdle.
Well, two great girls, and again, she was one that really wasn't quite on her game last year. But everything's gone really well this time round, and she's run a fantastic race. I mean, and fair play, Honeysuckle is in the very top drawer, and I know what, you know, we've seen some of those, but you'd have to be very proud of Epatante today. She was back to probably her best. Two wonderful mares. You know, it was a proper race. It was great.
It was a superb race. I'm now starting to think that Chantry House can win the Gold Cup. Who can do this?
Miracles.
Congratulations, the best of luck for the rest of the week.
Thanks, Lydia. Thank you.
Tom Palin is with me now, and you heard about him in dispatches there from Nicky Henderson, who was saying that you managed the troops very well when this horse's career, Mary's Rock, went a bit sideways after all that talent early on.
Yeah, she was very, very impressive during her novice hurdle days, and we thought she kind of came here with a great chance for the mare's novice a couple of years ago now, but circumstances went against us, and she didn't quite come back in the same vein of form. We ran her in the Jerry Fielden, and we ran her at the Doncaster Grade 2, and she just wasn't herself. She didn't train well, she didn't race well, she was just not herself. And then we took her away to Anne Duffields this summer, and she's just come back a completely different entity. We kind of got the mare back, you know, she's kind of Marie's Rock 2.0 this time round. She had a little software update, and she's back really. When we ran at Wetherby, that was a lovely race. The Great Wood here was a good race, and then we stepped her up finally to 2.5 miles at Kempton on Boxing Day, and that's where we started to think, hold on a minute, we might really have her back now. The Lanzarote, where she was joint favourite for, look, that's a big field handicap. That sort of stuff can happen. That's racing. I'd love to have won that and given her a little bit more of a prep coming into here, but we kind of had to go and earn our stripes at Warwick, and she did that in bucket loads. I thought she beat some very nice horses that day, and we were kind of coming here, I'm not going to say confident, but expecting of a decent run. If we got the rub of a green, I felt she was going to come here and be knocking on the door, sort of third-ish, that kind of thing. And look, everything's gone absolutely perfectly today. Nico's given her a great ride. Nicky's done everything he can at home to get her back. Given where we were with her, fair play to the Seven Barrows team. So I'm going to sing his praises. He might have been singing mine. But mainly, well done to the syndicate members for keeping the faith, for not putting too much pressure on myself and Nicky to change things and do things. She had the ability, and boy, have we seen that today.
We certainly have, and it's great to have a syndicate in the Winners' Enclosure at the Cheltenham Festival, I think. Can you give us an idea of what your members have said in the Winners' Enclosure here today to you?
I'm not sure I can repeat too much of it. There's been a lot of emotions. I'm only just really getting myself back together, and we're some 20 minutes after a race now. It's kind of stuff that, you know, the working man dream of, and even just to have a runner here, you know, we would have been delighted if we finished fourth, if we could have walked into the Winners' Enclosure. But to walk in with your winner, it's really quite special, and look, it's something that is going to keep the game going forward, and it's something that, in fairness to Cheltenham, have been very supportive of, getting as many people through the gates as possible for ourselves. It is the future of a racing game, and days like today, look, I can't speak highly enough of it. It's really quite special.
I can only agree. It's great to see so many people on the podium. I'm going to let you now go and enjoy it with the members. Many congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, a fascinating renewal of the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle over 2 miles, not least for the shortest price runner in the race's short history, Gaelic Warrior, 13-8.
Flag is up, starters ready, they're making their way to the tape. Very quickly, far too quickly. Far too quickly. So they are recalled. And the flagman quickly get out of the way. Oh, a couple are going so quick they've got over the first. So 3 of them couldn't stop in time before they got to flight number 1. So it will take a little bit of time to get all 21 of them now back behind the tape. They're off. Racing away then, short run down to the first of 8 flights of hurdles. Prairie Dancer with Gaelic Warrior, Dr. Brown Bear at Brazil, Forever William to the left, and also White Pepper amongst the leaders as they clear number 1 safely. Champion Green is towards the back with Swinging London, Sky Cutter, and also Britska are held up as they begin to settle a bit as they race down towards number 2. Off to the right, the Pale Jacket, the short price favourite, Gaelic Warrior. A red cap there is Dr. Brown Bear and Brazil, with on the left in yellow and blue Forever William. This is the leading quartet. Prairie Dancer in red is next. Right behind him is Bell X1. White Pepper, she's about 5th or 6th at the moment. Then comes Dr. Churchill. It's a blue jacket, a red cap for him. Green colours nearest the grandstand side is HMS Seahorse as they clear number 2. Where a few were hampered. Brazil got the worst of it, mainly caused by Gaelic Warrior, the leader shifting a little bit to his right as he jumped that flight of hurdles. In mid-division, we've got the likes of Son Segal in orange, who won the best, turned out award. The outside of Bell X1, Ebasari behind this, and these are followed by C Sessions and then Faye, and the red and white stripes of Mill Dam, and then the Tide Turns in yellow and white is just in behind Champion Green, and Britska in blue and white colours is wide of those runners. And they're then followed by Iberique du Searle in company with Swinging London and Sky Cutter, who are the last trio at this stage as they now come towards flight number 3. Gaelic Warrior continues to be out in front, ears pricked and got over that. Prairie Dancer in red flattened it just about in 2nd place. Forever William in yellow and blue wide of Brazil, and then comes White Pepper and Son Segal and Bell X1, the Pale Jacket and green sleeves. HMS Seahorse is all in green, hidden right up round the outside at the moment in company with Dr. Brown Bear. Dr. Churchill's in the centre, a blue jacket, a red cap. Ebasari and Faya behind this as they jump number 4. Then the grey Mill Dam, who races in company with Faye, and just ahead then of the white cap of Champion Green as they make their way towards the top of the hill. Dr. Churchill's begun to lose places. Too Friendly, yellow jacket, white cap. Britska, blue and white are right up on the outside. Iberique du Searle behind these as they jump 4 from the finish. The Tide Turns was just the back marker over that. Swinging London still towards the rear in no hurry. C Sessions is beginning to struggle a little bit at this stage. Had to be ridden along a few strides as Dr. Churchill becomes the back marker. Already turning for home, and it is Gaelic Warrior, Paul Townend, leading by a length down the hill. Brazil in 2nd place. Son Segal, Chester Williams in orange, coming there very strongly. Prairie Dancer is next on the extreme left in green. HMS Seahorse in company with Forever William. Dr. Brown Bear, Ebasari behind these. Bell X1 is next as they take the 3rd last flight of hurdles. The back marker, Dr. Churchill. Gaelic Warrior has been pressed now by Brazil and also Son Segal. And this trio a few lengths ahead of HMS Seahorse and Too Friendly and Bell X1. 2nd last flight of hurdles. He jumps out to his right, this favourite Gaelic Warrior. He did it again, but he's in front as he heads round the home turn now. Brazil in 2nd, HMS Seahorse in green in 3rd, Too Friendly, Son Segal, Bell X1 behind those. Iberique du Searle is the back marker. They head down to the final flight of hurdles in the Boodles Juvenile. well. And it's Gaelic Warrior and Paul Townend with a 2 or 3 length advantage. Final flight again. He jumps out to the right. Brazil has a chance. Belex 1, 2 friendly. HMS Seahorse are fighting in the closing stages. Brazil is trying to get through now to Gaelic Warrior. It's going to be very close. Brazil and Gaelic Warrior. Belex 1 behind those two. HMS Seahorse 2 friendly. And they're followed in by Swinging London and Iberic du Sel.
The Boodles goes to Brazil. 10-1 winner for Mark Walsh, Poiric Roach and JP McManus. Second, Gaelic Warrior, the 13-8 favourite. Third, Belex 1, 28-1. Fourth, HMS Seahorse at 8-1. This was another rough race, but those out the front were unaffected. And while Gaelic Warrior was in the perfect position to strike throughout, he has cost himself the race with his errant jumping. He's jumped out to his left, especially over the last. That opened the door back up for Brazil, who he headed at the top of the straight. But Brazil was the more streetwise model, was an easy winner last time at Naas, had taken in plenty of hurdling experience as well. And Gaelic Warrior's inexperience has really cost him in here. Brazil, a nice winner in the end. Interesting to see what he can be next year.
Another Irish-bred Cheltenham Festival winner. Contact Irish Thoroughbred Marketing to find yours.
Yeah, Poiric Roach is with me, leading on the rail. Like, you haven't just won a race at the Cheltenham Festival, you have. Can you believe it?
Oh, believe me, just fantastic. I'm lucky to have a horse like him, and it's great. So, absolutely over the moon.
What were you thinking coming up that run in as Mark was trying to reel in the lead?
Yeah, well, we know he's full brother to Capri, so we knew he'd definitely stay anyway. So Mark was brilliant on him, so just delighted. JP and Noreen, and they've all been very good to me, Frank and Claire, and so look, it's brilliant. Mum and Dad are home, so only for them I wouldn't be here, so I'm delighted.
And I'm sure they'll be so proud of you watching on. Can you describe this feeling immediately after having won a race at the Cheltenham Festival?
Unbelievable. I've coming here since I was young when Dad was training. Thanks, Dave. And all you want to do is win your rider. Thanks, Pup. So it's just, look, unbelievable. It worked out and it was great.
It's one thing getting them here, let alone winning the race as well. What was it about this horse that you thought, other than the handicap mark, I guess, was right for this?
Well, we just thought he was improving. It took him a while, he was out jumping and that, but he's after improving all the way. So, look, just over the moon. Can't believe it.
Listen, Poiric, enjoy it. He's coming back in. Well done.
Well, thanks very much. Thank you.
Mark Walsh has just ridden his 6th festival winner, his 2nd winner of the Boodles Fred Winter, this time on Brazil. It looked like your fella just knew a bit too much for the Gorky runner-up.
Yeah, well, Paul's horse kept jumping right, and he was actually interfering with me over the second last, so I was happy that Paul kicked into the straight so I could get down his inner. I knew my horse would stay all day, so the line came in time for us.
And I think he also caused the scrimmaging on the first bend for you, didn't he?
He did. At the second hurdle pause, I jumped out and squashed me and lost a bit of ground, but as I say, we weren't going much of a gallop, so I could get back into my position fairly handy enough.
Quite unusual for a race like this, the pace they went, don't you think?
Yeah, everyone down the start wanted to make it, but when we jumped off, nothing seemed to go on, so we were actually just hacking up the straight the first time, and we hacked for most of the way. That's why I knew my fella stays. I sent him on down the hill to the third last because I didn't want it to be a sprint. I wanted it to be a proper staying race from there, and it ended up being that.
And presumably his sort of background, that race experience he had, that grittiness was always going to help him as well.
Definitely, yeah. He's had 4 runs before today, so he had loads of experience, which you need in a race like this for the hustle and bustle. So, look, delighted Poiric had him in brilliant condition. Delighted for him. He's a very good friend of mine. We kind of grew up together, so delighted to give him his first Cheltenham winner.
It's fantastic. Is it his first runner in the UK? That was suggested to me as well.
I'm not too sure, but it's definitely his first runner at the festival.
Yeah, and a
so
winner.
He's 100% record now, so keep that going.
And a first win in the green and gold silks again today, which will be great for JP.
Yeah, it's very important. He's such a big supporter of racing. I try to get him as many winners as I can, so it's great to get one on the first day, so everyone seems to be happy.
I think they certainly are. That's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to for the rest of the week? Capodanno, I suppose?
Capodanno tomorrow, yeah. I have Capodanno tomorrow, the Shunter, La Pren Garden across country, and Andy Dufresne tomorrow. So yeah, I have 4 good races tomorrow, so looking forward to them.
Coming into this, what would you have said was your strongest chance?
Look, if you get one winner, it's great, so anything else is a bonus.
Well, you tick that box. Many congratulations, Mark. Well done.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
Well done.
The Ukraine Appeal National Hunt Challenge Cup Amateur Jockeys Novices Chase. The Grade 2 was the last of day 1. It was over 3 miles and 6 furlongs, run while Fred, the 15-8 narrow favourite.
They're off. They race away for our final race of the afternoon. Longest contest, 23 fences they're going to jump. They have one coming up before they turn out of the chute. And as they come to it, it is, well, just about Vanilla and nearest to us, Run Wild Fred, either side of Beat the Bullet, the three dueling for the early lead. Statler is behind those against the fence, and then comes the red and blue jacket of Pat's Fancy and Brayside. Black and white jacket, he's already the winner of the Best Turned Out award, is the back marker of the sextet, who are making their way on towards the longer run down the home straight on this first circuit. Race number 7 this afternoon, the Ukraine Appeal National Hunt Challenge Cup Amateur Riders Novices Chase. Here's fence number 2 coming up, then the grey on the right, Vanilla, taken on and passed there by Beat the Bullet, the orange and blue half jacket and white sleeves, the longest priced runner in the lineup, and he's going to be the leader, so quickly come down to number 3. Run Wild Fred, oh, he reached for that, and at the back of the field, Brayside wasn't exactly clever at it either. They move then on to the racecourse proper, and they're way on towards fences numbers 4 and 5. Beat the Bullet on the right, and on the left of the leaders, Run Wild Fred are the pair that dispute the running. So we have one of the joint market leaders before the off and the complete outsider in front. Pat's Fancy, red and blue colours, looks like he'll just about touch down over that one in third position by about a neck to the grey Vanilla, and then Statler is furthest from the grandstands, the white sleeves and red cap, and as they took the fifth fence, Brayside, black and white colours with Robert James continues to be the back marker. On then to number 6, just under 2 circuits still to go. Long way ahead of them still. And the pair in front, James King on Beat the Bullet against the running rail. Jamie Codd on Run Wild Fred. Maroon and white colours next to him. They've cleared number 6 safely and make their way round this turn on towards 7. They have just opened up a little bit of a gap now. Statler is white sleeve jacket showing in third place. He's moved up one position over Pat's Fancy. And the grey Vanilla a little wide on the course behind those. He wasn't too clever there either, and he drops a few lengths to join Brayside at the rear. Fence number 8 coming up is the water jump. It'll be 8 this time, 17 the second and final time they take it. And as they come over it now, it was just Run Wild Fred and the maroon and white colours who leads. And now they come to their first open ditch. They've got 4 of them to take. There'll be fences 9, 11, 18 and 20 on the way round. Run Wild Fred, good leap over that, landed by just over a length. He's moved on to Beat the Bullet in second. Statler, Patrick Mullins now in third position as they come to another plain fence number 10. Pat's Fancy in red and blue is wider of him. Brayside, black and white jacket against the running rail is next. Vanilla, Derek O'Connor on the grey horse, red yellow jacket just at the back marker. He's lost a few places in the early part of the race as they head now to number 11, the open ditch right up at the top of the hill. And about a and there another bad error from Brayside, who really belts that fence very hard. He loses 5 or 6 lengths on the others, but Robert James stays with him, but is going to call it a day. So number 2, Brayside, very bad mistake at the open ditch, fence number 11, and is pulled up shortly after. So 5 of them race down the hill on towards number 12 with Run Wild Fred. He's already the highest earner in this lineup. He's won almost £200,000. Today's first will take home $60,000. And he heads down towards this plain fence with about a 2-length advantage. There wasn't much to choose between the trio chasing him. On the left is Pat's Fancy. In the centre with the plain red cap, white sleeves is Statler, and the orange and blue cap of Beat the Bullet is off to the right against the running rail, and Vanilla is about a length and a half behind those. He's the only previous festival winner in the lineup. He won last year's staying novice hurdle, the Albert Bartlett, and at the moment he is in last of 5 runners who come now into the home straight again towards fences 13 and 14. Quick run between them. Here they come to 14 with Run Wild Fred. Statler, the white sleeves in the centre. Nearest to us is Pat's Fancy. Over the far side is Beat the Bullet. Those are virtually in line, second, third and fourth. And Vanilla is following those as they make their way off to the far side of the course once again. Last lap coming up. This is fence number 15. Braeside was the one who pulled up after the 11th. The others have all been jumping decently and get over that well, with Run Wild Fred heading them away to the far side. Continues to have about a 2-length lead. Against the running rail is Beat the Bullet, the longest priced runner in the lineup. Statler in the diamonds is next to him. Pat's Fancy is widest on the course in the red and blue, and the grey Vanilla is just about marker of the remaining quintet, although he was jumping up on the inside there of Pat's Fancy. As they move then to the 17th, the water jump for the second time. Run Wild Fred still out in front, although his 4 rivals are all beginning to close as they take the water jump. Now the next one is the 18th, the third of the open ditches. Run Wild Fred continues to go along okay in front. Statler in second place, coming through to get closer as the leader was a little low there. Vanilla in the centre of Pat's Fancy with a blue cap, and on the right is Beat the Bullet, who's still bang there with a chance as they head up now to number 19, 5 from the finish. All over that okay. So the final open ditch coming up. Run Wild Fred lobbing along in front, but now Vanilla, the grey, is out after him, has moved up just on the inside of Statler. Beat the Bullet behind those. Pat's Fancy comes next. This is the 4th last fence. They all clear it well. Run Wild Fred's got in a lovely rhythm, Jamie Colt, on this horse. He's now a 2-length leader. 3 plain fences to jump. Statler is running in second. Vanilla had made progress. Now he drops back to 3rd position and is rousted along. Behind those is Beat the Bullet and Pat's Fancy together. So they freewheel down the hill towards 3 from the finish. The maroon and white colours of Run Wild Fred. On the left with the white sleeves is Statler. Vanilla, the grey, is behind those in 3rd position, but still within striking distance at the 3rd last. And now there's very little to choose in front. Run Wild Fred on the right, Statler on the left, who's coming through very confidently. Behind those, Vanilla in 3rd under pressure. Pat's Fancy is next. Beat the Bullet behind that as they run to the home turn. And it's still Run Wild Fred. Statler has come alongside, but he's still a neck behind him. They are 10 lengths more than that clear. Vanilla. 2 plain fences to go. Statler, Patrick Mullins on the left, has joined Run Wild Fred, and he's gone past him. And Statler now approaches the 23rd and final fence with a 2-length advantage. A lovely leap over it. Run Wild Fred is in second place. Vanilla is in 3rd. They're heading up the hill then. It is Statler now, and Patrick Mullins a 5 or 6 length advantage. Ears pricked. He's got plenty left, and he's run out a ready winner. Statler's the winner. Run Wild Fred in second position. Vanilla will be 3rd. The judge might have to decide 4th money. Nearest to us is Pat's Fancy. Furthest from us is Beat the Bullet. It will be a close between those.
Statler wins 2-1 for Patrick Willie Mullins and Ronnie Bartlett. Second, Run Wild Fred, the 15-8 favourite. The Mullins are on the board in the final race of the first day of the Cheltenham Festival. Statler, a very easy winner in the end, was always tracking through Run Wild Fred, whose stamina was assured the latter, the former not necessarily. However, he is all stamina on the back of this, and having won a novice Grade 3 chase last time over at Naas in Ireland, he had to prove that he really wanted this far, but it's been no issue in the end. Statler, a very exciting horse for staying trips in the future.
The winning horse is a Goffs horse.
It's another Tattersall's National Hunt winner.
Willie Mullins is on the board in the final race on the first day of the 2022 Cheltenham Festival, thanks to Statler with his son Patrick on board. Congratulations, you had to wait to the last race, but it was sweet in the end.
This English dominance going on here all day, so...
you need a root and branch review of Irish racing, I reckon, after that.
Definitely, but, you know, I thought Patrick was very cool on him. He just, I mean, my nerves were in bits going around the whole time, but, you know, Patrick just got him into a rhythm, got him settled, got him jumping, and produced him at the right time. I thought coming on the last bend when he couldn't put it to bed just before the last bend, I said, oh, we might be in trouble, but he just got him around the last bend and they just aimed him at the second last, and it just happened. And you know, he knew he had his measure then, I suppose.
He met the second last beautifully. That's what sealed the race, wasn't it?
He did. I think he might have made one mistake, did he, or put in one short one during the whole race. So Patrick just sat there and got the horse to do the work. So
can I ask you to move forward because one of our players coming back this way. But an unusual National Hunt chase, wasn't it? With such a small field.
It was, you know, I suppose the Cheltenham will have to look into that. You know, maybe the good horses are scaring away the other horses. I don't know, but it's something that probably there were very few runners today altogether, and that seems to be a trend during the week, so that'll have to be looked at, I think.
And coming back to this fella, he seems to have learned on the job. You could see his jumping improving with each time you saw him.
Yes, but you know, I think he's a good jumper, and probably that's why Patrick nominated him early in the season for this race. You know, so he was thinking of himself the whole time, which is the right thing to do. It's worked out because, you know, I think he probably has enough class to win over 2.5 miles or 3 miles. You know, and he just thought he was a good. I'm going to run here.
You go and do that. Many congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks.
Patrick Mullins has just won a 3rd National Hunt Chase, this time on Statler. Many congratulations. A different kind of race to usual with such a small field and one to chase.
Very much so. And we were all in there wondering, you know, if it was a big field, we kind of knew exactly what we were doing, but we were all thinking, are you going on? Am I going on? And in the end, we all ended up just lining up in a line and seeing where we were after the first. I was planning on just jumping off and letting him roll away in the first 2 or 3, but the pace in the first half mile, he was kind of flat out. But then after that, he just started jumping into it. And his jumping just made the race very easy.
I thought he won it with that jump at the second last. That was so fluent.
Yeah, but you know what was brilliant was he went down to the first and tapped. And for the first lap, he just popped. And then the last lap, when I started asking him to have a cut at them, he has loads of scope. The third last, the second last, and the last, he just, spectacular.
You knew you had a horse of the quality of Run Wild Fred in front of you. Were you confident with the way that yours was going that you were going to pick him up?
No, my lad is very lazy, so you know, every now and then I was having to give him a click or slap on the shoulder or a squeeze, and even after the third last, I could see Jamie was wanting to get us really racing down to the second last where he could put his experience to use, and I wanted to keep tabs on him, but not be going down to the second last flat out if I could. But there was loads there. He's just lazy more than anything. Laid back might be a better way of putting it.
That's the politer way of putting it. And how would you reflect on the day? It's good to get one on the board for the team in the final race, but how's the day been otherwise for you?
Well, look, it had that look of a day at the start that they could all run well and not win. To be bar Gaelic Wire, who we were hoping was well in, but you know, first run was always going to be a question mark. So to get one is great. It was going to be a long night if we didn't get one.
And reflect on on what happened with Kilcrot?
I was very disappointed, to be honest. I was flat out. Now he went down and missed the first, but from there on in, I'm just flat out. And you know, down the back, half down the back straight, I'm having to shove him along. I think he's better than that, but maybe he just wants to go up and trip.
And how are what are you thinking of the ground? Because it's a bit quicker, I think, than we were expecting. It's essentially good ground, isn't it, been today?
I would call it good ground. Definitely at home, we'd call it good. You know, it was a lot of drying yesterday. I think there's a good bit of rain tomorrow. But I'd hope that there is rain tomorrow.
Well, there's mixed forecasts apparently. There's quite a range. And looking ahead to tomorrow, it's potentially a big day for you. Shaka Bassois, how would he like the ground?
I think he'll go on the ground. You know, his best performance was arguably in Punchestown last year. I can't wait to get back on him again. You know, in Sandown he wasn't himself, quite clearly. You just draw a line through that. Look, he's 10. Shishkin and Energamine are 8. They're in their prime. The odds are stacked against him in that regard. But if he could do it, I don't think there's any result we'd get more pleasure out of.
You've got unfinished business in that race as well, haven't you?
I do.
Said with determination. And have you picked the right one of your fathers in the last?
Look, it was impossible not to pick Facile Vega. You know, he's always caught the eye. His work is very good. His performance has been explosive. His pedigree is what it is. But it's so hard with these bumper horses. They're improving at different rates. They've had one run, most of them. He's had 2. I couldn't not ride him. Will I be surprised if one of the others comes and beats him? I won't be surprised. It's happened to me before. I think our last favourite to win it was Miss That in 2005. So it's very hard to know. But I couldn't not ride him.
Very best of luck tomorrow. You couldn't have ended the day better. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
There are your winners for day one of the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. A couple of winning favourites, and the first 2 races, in fact. Constitution Hill 9-4 joint favourite took the Supreme Edwardstone in the Arkle Honeysuckle, of course, taking her 2nd consecutive champion hurdle. A good day for Nico de Boinville and Nicky Henderson. Constitution Hill and Maurice Rock were the 2. Maurice Rock taking the mares. Nice performances in and around from Korak Rambler as well, getting the Russells on the board too. Day 1 jockey standing saw Nico de Boinville head them up. 2 winners from Patrick Mullins, Tom Cannon, Derek Fox, Rachel Blackmore and Mark Walsh, all tied, with Patrick Mullins edging 2nd on countback for 3rds. The leading trainers, well, it's for the home team. Nicky Henderson headed up the standings at the end of day one. 2 wins and 2 seconds as well from Willie Mullins, who got himself back in the last race with Statler in the National Hunt Chase. Something of a pleasant surprise for the home team. 4 wins on day one. Scarcely believable off the back of last year's festival, in turn with Ireland getting 3 on the board. Still a long week to go, but a fine start for Britain in the Prestbury Cup.
Welcome to our Road to Cheltenham wrap for the first day of the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. Centre stage, obviously, belongs to Honeysuckle, and they got the reception that they were owed from last year, didn't they?
They did, but I was greatly taken with the ride. It was a ride to win. It wasn't a ride not to lose. There's nothing safe about it. It was brave. I love it. I love that. I like that. You know, she tucked in at the top of the hill, Rachel Blackmore, went for the split inside, not so sleepy, got outside appreciated, but Anna here outside her. It wasn't safe, it was brave, and I admired that.
She felt that Rachel Blackmore felt she wasn't quite in the right position, wasn't ideally where she wanted to be, but the thing about her horse is she's got so much confidence in her, and Honeysuckle finds a way to win.
And Honeysuckle has an incredible turn of foot.
Yes.
And she opened up off the bend and put the rest at bay in a matter of strides, and then she only does enough. Look, it was wonderful to see, and and the reception was amazing, wasn't it?
The reception was fantastic. I mean, cheering and everything that Rachel missed and deserved last year. And I love the fact that afterwards, while Rachel was weighing in, we had 2 circuits at the paddock for Honeysuckle with everybody cheering and clapping the horse, as it should be for a 15-time straight winner.
She's an incredible mare, and 15, I think it'll be 16 in Punchestown. I do. I think they'll serve her. 17, 18. She'll be coming here for 19 when she meets Constitution Hill.
Oh, that's interesting. We'll come on to that in a moment. We should pay due deference to...
See him, he told me that horse wouldn't stay one time. That's Ronnie Bartlett. He wanted to drop him back to 2.5 miles.
Statler! We'll get on to him. We should pay due deference to the runners-up in the Champion Hurdle. Appetite kind of lost her legs at the last, didn't she?
She did, but she ran her heart out. Appreciated, he faded. But I want to tell you what else did you. It was a slow race. They went steady, and it turned into a bit of a dash race, going into the right position, but they went steady, and it was much slower than the spring.
And Appreciate it wasn't really jumping, right?
No,
from an early
he
stage.
wasn't. He was too high. Ground was probably plenty quick enough for him.
Zanahiyr ran well with the first time.
Ran a cracker, suited him, but the slow race probably didn't suit Zanahiyr. He could have done with being dragged a bit harder.
Definitely
and
agree.
I thought Aidan Coleman was very good. Nepetant followed down and finished as close as he possibly could.
Yeah, she looked dangerous at one point, not to be, because Honeysuckle settled it, as is her trademark. Now, Constitution Hill blew the Supreme away. We were saying it's the most competitive Supreme since Out for Off, and Constitution Hill has just dotted up, barely broken stride. It's just incredible.
It was phenomenal to watch. And look, Dysart Dynamo and John Bond played their part. John Bond set out and he wasn't going to give it to Dysart Dynamo easy. Dysart Dynamo went a really strong gallop, even compared to the champion. And they played their part, but Constitution Hill was cantering behind them every step of the way. Switched in down the hill and missed Dysart Dynamo fall. And Nico had been outside him, switched inside him, and look, it was I don't know. I won plenty of Supremes, but I never saw a novice do that.
No, it was an extraordinary performance, and they're talking about going to Punchestown and taking on Honeysuckle potentially this season.
Yeah, but when they sit down and think about it, might they come to Punchestown and just win the Grade 1 novice?
I don't know. I think Michael Buckley is in sort of competitive form because he's wanting to enjoy himself. He's talking about winning the Champion Hurdle next year and winning the Gold Cup as well with this horse.
Look, isn't that what the dream is about? And isn't it great? Fair play to Michael Buckley. And, Barry Geraghty and Maureen Ewing, they stood behind him. Nicky had him in incredible form, and if that's what Michael Buckley wants to do, fair play to him.
And the temperament of that horse will help him. He is just bomb-proof.
I heard Barry talking about it, letting Orla, Shifra and Rian ride him. You can see why.
Yeah.
He's incredibly quiet.
Yeah. Normally he's asleep in the racecourse stables. Nicky said it was the first time he's ever been awake.
Yeah, he was awake, all right.
He certainly was. So we were 1-0 up for the British after the first race. We were 2-0 up after the second race because Edwardson won the Arkle for Tom Cannon, a first ever festival winner for him, and Alan King, his first success. It's Caessandra's win in the Ryanair in 2015.
Very professional, great ride as well. Pulled him back at the top of the hill, jumped like a stag, and he looked to have the best form going in. He was a worthy favourite and he delivered really well. Delighted for Tom Cannon. You get an opportunity, you have to take them, and he took it, and it was great for him. But look, 2-0 up. I suggested that somewhere along the way and got abused a couple of weeks ago. It's where I was Judas. But I wasn't surprised.
It's interesting the way that Tom Cannon has stepped into the shoes of Wayne Hutchinson, who's stepped into the shoes of Robert Thornton. You know, Alan King likes to have a stable jockey that he can trust, and this now is the new team, and they can go forward.
Yeah, and Edverstone's a very good horse. He was a decent hurdler, and he's a better chaser. Look, he'd be an exciting horse going into the Champion Chase Division next year to take on Shishkin.
Definitely, because last 8-year-olds to win it, Moscow Flyer, Size of Europe, top class as 2 mile chases. Eventful race, wasn't it? Anything else you want to pick out?
St. Sam obviously got brought down. I thought Edverstone did well to avoid.
Yes.
Venetia's horse that fell, and
Great
Charlie
Jessica.
Deutsch. Yeah. Did I think anything else? No, Riviera de Tel,
Out to
maybe
her
one
right.
race too far for her.
And out to her right the
yeah,
whole
and
time.
ground.
Yeah.
Drier ground compared to what she's been running on.
Yeah, we should mention the ground. Good to Soft it was officially. Essentially, it was good ground, wasn't it?
The clock says it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, into the Ultima. This was a super race, and it was won by Correct Rambler, Derek Fox on board for Lucinda Russell and Peter Scudamore, who rides the horse out all the time at home. A quirky horse, but a horse full of ability.
Yes, great ride. Missed obviously standing start, didn't get out where he wanted to be, got a long way back, but I loved watching him on the overhead camera down the hill, out in great, and you know the horse ran on really strongly. Bit of a character.
Yeah.
Peter doesn't want him described as quirky, so we'll call him a character Peter. But he is a bit of a character, and he has lots of character, I'd say.
Well, Lucinda Russell did turn to one of the owners after the start and say, we're going to need a vintage Derek Fox from this point onwards.
And it was.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
I felt really sorry for Jericho Rock in second, because he did everything right.
5 pounds out of the handicap as well, did nothing wrong, but yeah, Derek Fox, look, it's great to ride your first Cheltenham winner, but to do it like that, it's a bit special.
Yeah, and of course he's got Poison Euro in the Brown advisory tomorrow. Could that be a sign of what's to come then? Then we had another Grade 1 immediately after the Champion Hurdle. Tell Me Something Girl in the same colours as Honeysuckle was going well 2 out when there was a fall with Indefatigable. In the end, it was Mary's Rock who came through strongly.
Stormed up the hill, Nick got a Bonville double for himself and Nicky Henderson. I didn't see it coming. I didn't fancy it at all. I thought the Irish would win it, simple as that. But she quicker ground, quick and nicely. Thought it was a steadily run race.
Yes, well, it seemed. I mean, I'm going to have to go back and crunch the numbers.
Yeah,
but Nico was saying
you
it
can
was
do
quite, thanks, quite strongly run. Anyway, I'll go back and take a look at it. Nicky Henderson had been quite strong on Mary's Rock. Then we had Gaelic Warrior. He was going to win, wasn't he? The Boodles Fred Win. He was just going to win it.
Just jumped right. That's what got to meet, wasn't it?
And out street smarted at the end as
Yeah,
well.
he
by
was.
Brazil,
yeah, definitely. But I think he threw it away jumping myself. Didn't jump well enough. And that was the ultimately, you got beat a short head. Like, then you had to go straight at one hurdle to pick up a short head.
And a significant first winner at the festival for Porrick Roach.
Delighted for him. Got a big penalty for winning an ace, but I'd say he was relieved that he still managed to win with it.
And Mark Walsh was, as ever, cool as a cucumber afterwards.
Yeah.
He managed to win narrowly. Final race, Patrick Mullins had to wait till that to win. That was the National Head Chase, an old one with only 6 runners, and it was Statler who managed to run down Run Wild Fred.
He did, yeah. And we were slagging Ronnie Bartlett there at the beginning. Ronnie didn't, here in November, thought we were going too far with the horse. So we went further, and the horse won.
I won quite readily in the end as well. So that's what happened on day 1. That's our Road to Cheltenham wrap. We'll see you tomorrow.